Hello, beloved Twin Flames. I'm in my car again, recording. This just does seem to be the place where I get time to record, so it is what it is. And I've just wanting to have a little bit more of an update on the Spiritual Ninja video. So this is Spiritual Ninja Part 2, just kind of processing as I go. And as we know, this Twin Flame journey, we don't necessarily have a map. We don't really have a guidebook. We know there's a lot of different parts. We know that each individual twin flame pair or each even individual person is going to experience their journey differently. And you take what resonates and you leave what doesn't. And also being aware, however, there are probably going to be certain, from what I can see, we can't see everything. Everything's going to unfold as it does, and there's going to be a bigger picture that unfolds, but each stage is what it is, and each level is what it is, and each sort of part of the journey and each part of the territory that we cover is just, what it is at any given time. And, of course, there's going to be people that see things from different perspectives. That's just, again, how it goes, and everybody's maybe looking at it from a different vantage point as well. Let's just say, some people have already climbed that mountain and they're looking down and they can see from their mountain, and other people are sort of still, maybe going through the river part where we're trying to swim through the river and they're trying to go with the flow, or they need to cross a bridge, or they need to go through the forest and they get stuck in quicksand, or, everybody's at different parts of the journey. So it's really allowing for that, and allowing people to kind of express and be where they're at as well, and in their journey, and that not to feel as if it's being judged, or that you are higher or lower necessarily than other people. It's just every part is valid, and that's also to say that people that are experiencing mainstream 3D, consciousness living is equally as valid an experience. You could say that even, if you want to go to all really big extremes, that even people that are doing harm to others is also kind of part of a bigger picture of kind of an experience of its own on some level. So, and where I'm going to go with this is that I guess part of the feeling that I have inside of me is that I'm balancing some of the aspects of the various polarities that exist on the planet. And I do feel that is a very important part of the twin flame experience, and is shown particularly, especially with that divide between the masculine and the feminine, which is one of the strongest polarities that exists on the planet. And so I do feel that part of our journey is to harmonize those polarities and balance them within ourselves and with each other. So when I'm talking about the spiritual ninja stuff, I feel as if it's really for certain people whose life experience has involved at various stages of their life journey being a victim, being someone who has had experiences happen to them where they have lost their power, they've been powerless, and so that's been very traumatic, and it's been a very long journey for many to come out of that place of being a victim. And there's a very common triangle that's used in psychology, and it's the victim perpetrator sort of triangle, victim, rescuer, perpetrator triangle. And so at different times in our lives we can play each of those roles, and some people play more of them more than others. So for me personally, I've been, spent a lot of my life really avoiding conflict and being generally quite a pacifist, and really just preferred to sit quietly and as much as I've got a part of me that wants to feel like it wants to get up and fight and be a bit of a rebel and create revolutions of change, I've still generally done that in a very peace-loving kind of way. Peace and love, totally. And for many light workers and healers, the love has often been a little bit one-sided, if I could say it that way. The love has been very much us being very soft and very compassionate and very gentle and very accepting and allowing and non-judgmental, and that's been very, very important. It's a very important skill to have that when we're dealing with healing people that are in a lot of pain, that really require that energy of deep love and unconditional love and positive regard and acceptance of their situation, so that enables them to heal. Because as soon as people feel judged, again, that's a really core wounding for humanity, and it's one of the earliest emotions that we felt as humans when we perhaps went out when we were from travelling in tribes and back in the cave times. It was the one thing that if we went out of line of our tribe, we were rejected or we were judged, and we were on our own. So it's very important that we are pretty much pack animals. We like to do things according to what's acceptable to society, and that's been proven in so many psychological experiments that have been done that show that people just don't want to go out of just being accepted, really. And so what happens is when there's a lot of acceptance, we often have forgotten a part of love. There's another part of love which says that's not okay what you're doing, and I'm going to do something about it. And so if you really, if we really tune into our hearts as healers, there is another part of us that feels really, the heart is not just this weak, soft, fluffy thing. It's actually the most powerful organ in the body. It's the strongest and most amazing organ and part of our body that we have. And if we tune into our hearts, everybody might tune into their heart differently, but I've tuned into my heart at times, and I've felt my heart say, you need to go do something about that situation, because that's really wrong. And so love sometimes can be tough. We talk about tough love. Sometimes it's, as a parent, particularly as a parent, I've had to do that with my own child, where I see them doing something that is not helpful to themselves or others, is not helpful to their growth, and it sometimes means me saying no to behaviours that are, and not allowing certain things to carry on. So using the example of our planet, where, let's just say you've got a neighbour down the road, and you've noticed that she is in a situation where she might be maybe in a violent relationship. You're not sure. You've seen maybe some bruises, or she looks a bit down at times, and you're wondering what's going on. And as an empathetic being, you're going to be sending out a little bit of love to her, and maybe some prayers, and hope that she is going to be okay. But you may not necessarily want to get involved necessarily. So that's okay. You can do that for a while, and then maybe one night you actually hear something going on, and you can hear that this woman is actually being beaten. Do you still continue to sit in your house and pray and send love and hope that everything's going to be all right? Or do you get on the phone and ring the police? Or do you go there yourself and stop the situation or get some help? There's another part to love. This is what I'm feeling, and we're learning that. Twin Flames are learning that, especially because we are the ones that are bringing the love in. And sometimes in many codependent relationships of the past, there have been situations where we have allowed behaviours to continue in our relationships and never done anything about them. We've let them be, and that's called enabling in psychology. We've enabled addictions to continue. We've not done anything about it. Is that love? Is that loving ourselves? Is that loving the other person? No, I don't think it is. So I think, this is what I'm talking about with the spiritual ninja stuff. I'm saying it's time to translate that analogy of going and helping someone that's being hurt or harmed by something that you can do something about and that you know what to do, if you've got the skills and the strength to do something about it, go do something about it. We can't, allow things that are not in the love, that are not in the love, that are not of the love. So we've just got to think about how we're going to use the skills that we have to deal with this, to do something about it. So that's kind of what I'm saying, where I'm coming from with my spiritual ninja stuff. For me personally, my polarity lesson is to do more of that. And, you could take it on different levels. Like, I feel as if I'm doing that myself on the third dimensional level with my job that I do. I work with women that have been sexually abused. I work for an organisation. I'm not just on the front line dealing with the outcome of what's happened. I'm actually educating people to prevent this stuff from happening, to look at where this starts. For sexual violence, it starts in a society where women are treated in a sexist way, that we are told, we're sluts or whatever it is, we're put down, where we have a society that allows that to happen. We let this happen, but I've made a decision that I don't want to let that happen. I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to do something to change it. So let's translate that to the spiritual realm, which a lot of us are also working in, because we're very fantastic multi-dimensional beings that operate on many levels. That we've got stuff going on in the spiritual realms and the astral realms that some of us know about, some of us can see, and some of us can feel. And are we going to just allow that to continue, or are we going to do something about it? And if so, what are we going to do, and how are we going to do it? So, that for me is personally my personal learning at the moment. I feel as if, because of what I'm hearing some of the other twin flames talk about at different times, it's an area that people don't necessarily want to go into because it's easier just to not. But I think it is going to be something that we're going to really have to look at and work together as a team on, because the more of us that come together, it's the same. One person can stand up and talk about how rape is a bad thing, but if we get a team of people coming together, men and women both, saying that this is not okay, then something gets done. People hear there's more voices saying the same thing. There's more people at work creating the energy of saying no to things that are no longer healthy in our lives. So that's the balancing of the polarity that I'm talking about. That's where on the other extreme, maybe there are some of us that have been spiritual ninjas their whole lives, been social justice fighters and advocates. A lot of indigos are like that, and they fight. But maybe those other people that are needing to balance the other polarity, which is the allowing polarity and just accepting things as they are. So, again, I'm not saying we're all doing this at the same time. There are some of us that are. So I'm speaking to those people just in terms of a support, really. Support to each other, shout out to our community out there. And so that's part 2. I'm sure there's going to be more updates, because we're on a journey. We're travelling in time and space and different dimensions. We're going through different learnings at different stages. It's all new to a lot of us. A lot of it's uncharted territory. The more support and the more we speak out and share our information and our messages, the stronger we become. So, I got the push to do it. I was sitting back and listening to a lot of people's YouTube videos and really resonating with them, and I really appreciated them so much, and they really helped me on my journey. And then I was getting, this stuff, you also know this, you need to share this. So I'm like, okay, and then I became ready. I was ready to share, and I know there are also a lot of others out there that are ready to do the same, and it's all helpful. We've got our chance now. We've got YouTube. We don't have to rely on the media to tell us stuff and, pay corporations to tell us how we're meant to live our lives. We can tell each other and share our parts and information that have been hidden for so long. This is what YouTube's for. Okay, thank you everyone. Sending out lots of super-powered love and light for your journeys today. Love you all.